Welcome back to Eagle Discovery. Today we uncover the hidden realities of North Korean female soldiers, a life shaped by mandatory service, relentless hardships, and unimaginable sacrifices. Behind the tightly controlled borders lies a tale of resilience, injustice, and survival. These women give their youth to the regime, enduring grueling conditions and social isolation. Join us as we reveal 8 shocking truths about their lives that will both amaze and move you. Stay tuned for a story you won't forget. The harsh reality of mandatory military service for women in North Korea. Imagine being 17 and instead of dreaming about college, career, or life ahead, you're handed a military uniform and told to dedicate 7 long years of your life to serving your country. This is the stark reality for young women in North Korea, where a 2015 amendment to the conscription law mandates military service for all women over 17 years old, while other nations, like Vietnam, allow women the option to join the military voluntarily, and countries with conscription often have significantly shorter terms. North Korea's policy is both stringent and far-reaching. The government promotes this policy as a step toward gender equality, yet the roles assigned to women in the military paint a very different picture. Instead of combat positions, women often find themselves in logistical roles, managing supplies, cooking for male soldiers, or performing administrative tasks. Beyond these roles, they take on grueling physical labor, such as maintaining barracks, cleaning facilities, or even working on farms to provide food for the units. Behind the uniform, the price of service. 7 years in the military doesn't just interrupt a woman's formative years, it leaves lasting scars. The harsh training, inadequate food, and lack of proper medical care often result in malnutrition and physical exhaustion. Many women return from service visibly weakened, their health compromised by years of deprivation. Emotional scars run deep too, as they grapple with the trauma of a militarized lifestyle, and in some cases the abuse of power they may have endured. Reintegration into society becomes another battle. For many women, those years spent serving the state often come at the expense of education or work experience, leaving them at a disadvantage compared to their peers. Additionally, the rigid and hierarchical nature of the military doesn't equip them with the skills necessary to navigate the complexities of civilian life. How does North Korea compare? In stark contrast, countries like South Korea have also mandated military service, but only for men, and efforts are underway to shorten service terms while improving living conditions for soldiers. Similarly, countries like Israel, which require military service for both men and women, have a more structured approach with shorter service terms and opportunities for professional development post-service. For North Korean women, however, the military is often a sentence rather than an opportunity. It's a time of sacrifice that yields little benefit, leaving many to question the fairness and necessity of such a policy. The unspoken voices. Despite the challenges, these women remain largely silent, unable to openly share their grievances in a state where dissent is not tolerated. Their stories, however, provide a rare glimpse into the everyday struggles faced by North Koreans, particularly women, under one of the world's most secretive regimes. When we hear about North Korea, it's often through tales of political intrigue or military might, but these women's experiences shed light on a more personal, human side of the story, one of endurance, resilience, and, ultimately, survival. Would you be willing to spend your youth this way, knowing the hardships that await? For the young women of North Korea, there is no choice, only a path dictated by the state. The shadow of sexual violence. Sexual abuse within the North Korean military is a haunting reality, with testimonies from defectors painting a grim picture of systemic exploitation. Female soldiers are often treated as possessions by male officers, enduring everything from harassment to outright assault. Tragically, these women have little recourse to seek justice or protect themselves from ongoing abuse. The rigid and oppressive hierarchy within the military silences victims, leaving them trapped. Reporting an abuser is not just risky, it's nearly impossible. Victims face threats of dismissal, ostracization, or even severe punishment. One chilling account from a defector reveals how a commander repeatedly assaulted female soldiers under his authority, leveraging his power to control their futures, including their membership in the influential Workers' Party. The consequences of this abuse extend beyond emotional and physical trauma. For women who become pregnant as a result of such violence, the options are desperate and dangerous. With no access to safe medical care, many resort to horrific measures to terminate pregnancies. Some drink toxic cleaning fluids, bind their abdomens tightly, or deliberately harm themselves, leading to severe health complications and even death. Defectors have recounted horrifying stories of fetuses being discovered in military latrines, heartbreaking evidence of the lengths these women go to in their desperation. This grim reality underscores the deep vulnerabilities faced by women in North Korea's military system, where their voices are silenced, their bodies exploited, and their suffering ignored. Behind the veil of national pride and propaganda lies a harrowing truth that the regime works tirelessly to conceal. The question remains, how much longer can the world ignore the plight of these women? The Pleasure Squad and its role in the regime. The story of North Korea's infamous Pleasure Squad, Kipamjo, unveils a grim reality about the exploitation of women under the regime's rule. This shadowy organization, shrouded in secrecy yet widely acknowledged through defectors' accounts and leaked reports, represents one of the most unsettling facets of life in the Hermit Kingdom. The squad comprises young girls, some as young as 13, who are meticulously selected based on strict criteria, including physical beauty, unwavering loyalty to the regime, and a willingness to obey without question. These girls are promised better lives for their families and financial compensation, though the reality is far from the ideal they might have imagined. Their induction involves rigorous training not just in the arts, like singing, dancing, and musical performance, but also in etiquette and grooming, ensuring they can meet the regime's aesthetic and behavioral expectations. The squad is divided into 3 distinct groups, each serving a specific purpose. Satisfaction Group. Members provide personal entertainment and often endure exploitation under the guise of serving the nation's elite. Massage Group. These women are trained in massage therapy, tasked with offering physical comfort to high-ranking officials. Music and Dance Group. This group performs at lavish banquets and official events, showcasing traditional and modern performances that blend culture with propaganda. While these women may experience relative material comfort compared to the general populace, their lives are highly restricted. Living in seclusion, they cannot contact their families or pursue personal aspirations. Their identities are often erased, replaced by a singular focus, serving the regime's top officials. The existence of the Pleasure Squad, while officially denied by the government, has been corroborated by defectors, many of whom describe the psychological and emotional toll it takes on its members. Some women in the squad are forced to retire once they reach their mid-20s and are married off to loyal military officers to ensure their silence. For others, returning to civilian life is not an option, as they carry secrets the regime cannot risk being exposed. What makes this practice even more harrowing is how it reflects the broader societal objectification of women within North Korea. Women are often viewed as tools to serve the state's needs, whether through their labor, reproduction, or, most disturbingly, through their physical presence. Despite the regime's attempts to maintain control over information, the stories of these women have made their way to the outside world, shedding light on the lengths to which the leadership will go to preserve its power. These chilling accounts not only expose the brutal realities of life under North Korea's authoritarian rule, but also highlight the resilience of those who have managed to escape and share their truths with the world. For those interested in the complexities of North Korean society, the story of the Pleasure Squad serves as a stark reminder of how authoritarian regimes exploit their people in unimaginable ways, all while presenting an image of strength and unity to the outside world. It also raises important questions about the role of international advocacy and intervention in addressing such hidden atrocities. A diet of starvation and survival. The harsh realities of North Korea's food shortages extend to its military. Soldiers, including women, often subsist on a meager diet of boiled corn, kimchi, or a few potatoes. Protein is so scarce that a piece of meat is considered a luxury, reserved for national holidays or special occasions. Malnutrition is rampant, with many soldiers suffering from stunted growth, weakened immunity, and fatigue. Defectors have recounted instances of soldiers collapsing during training due to hunger. In one case, a North Korean soldier who defected to South Korea was found to have corn kernels in his stomach, a sign of extreme starvation. The military's reliance on soldiers for agricultural labor further underscores the regime's struggles with food security. Female soldiers are often tasked with harvesting crops, transporting heavy sacks of grain, and tending to military farms, all while battling hunger themselves. Living conditions unfit for human dignity. The barracks for North Korean female soldiers paint a stark picture of neglect and suffering. With as many as 20 women crammed into a single room, the living quarters are far from accommodating. Their beds consist of thin mats stuffed with rice husks, an improvised solution that offers little comfort or hygiene. Over time, sleeping on these mats leads to chronic back pain and skin infections, further exacerbating the challenges these women endure. Sanitation facilities are shockingly inadequate. Bathing, a basic human necessity, becomes a grueling ordeal. Soldiers often resort to washing outdoors using water from contaminated streams or rivers, exposing themselves to waterborne diseases. In the bitter cold of winter, when temperatures plummet, bathing becomes a near impossible task, forcing many to forego hygiene for weeks. Defectors have likened these conditions to life in a prison camp, describing their military service as dehumanizing and a profound affront to human dignity. These living conditions are not just physically taxing, but also mentally draining, stripping the soldiers of their sense of self-worth and leaving lasting scars on their health and well-being. Isolation and control. Isolation is a key tool used by the North Korean regime to maintain control over its soldiers, especially women. Female soldiers are subjected to strict rules that cut them off from the outside world. They are prohibited from taking leave, visiting their families, or even forming personal relationships within the military. Communication with loved ones is restricted to heavily censored letters, which are often read aloud to their units, leaving no room for privacy or authenticity. This forced isolation serves two critical purposes: preventing soldiers from sharing their experiences with the outside world and ensuring unwavering loyalty to the regime. However, the psychological toll of such control is immense. Many women emerge from their service feeling alienated and disconnected from their families and communities. The transition back to civilian life is often fraught with difficulties, as years of strict isolation leave them struggling to reintegrate into a society that has moved on without them. The regime's manipulation of its soldiers' emotional and social connections exemplifies its broader strategy of control, turning even the most basic human relationships into a tool of oppression. Healthcare crisis in the military. Healthcare in the North Korean military is in a state of crisis. Soldiers have limited access to medical care, as hospitals lack essential supplies, from basic medications to sterilized equipment. Shockingly, soldiers are often required to pay for their treatments out of pocket, an impossible burden for many, leaving countless individuals to suffer untreated. Female soldiers face even greater challenges. The scarcity of menstrual supplies forces them to rely on reusable gauze, which must be washed and reused in unsanitary conditions. This lack of proper hygiene leads to infections and discomfort, compounding the difficulties of military life. Combined with chronic malnutrition and overwork, these factors result in severe health problems that often persist long after these women leave the service. The healthcare crisis highlights the regime's disregard for the well-being of its soldiers, treating them as expendable resources rather than individuals deserving of care and dignity. Historical ties, North Korea and Vietnam's unbreakable bond. Amid the numerous challenges faced by North Korean soldiers, a lesser-known but extraordinary chapter of solidarity emerges between North Korea and Vietnam. This story, rooted in the shared struggles of two nations, represents a remarkable bond forged during one of the most defining conflicts of the 20th century, the Vietnam War. In the 1960s, as Vietnam fought against foreign forces for independence and reunification, North Korea extended its unwavering support. Among its contributions was the deployment of 14 skilled pilots to join the Vietnamese cause. These North Korean aviators, driven by the ideals of solidarity and anti-imperialism, took to the skies, participating in the fierce air battles that defined the war. Their courage and skill earned them admiration, but their missions came at a high cost. Many of these pilots lost their lives, far from their homeland, in the pursuit of a shared vision for liberation. Their sacrifice did not go unnoticed. In Bac Giang Province, Vietnam, a solemn memorial stands as a testament to their bravery and the enduring friendship between the two nations. Lovingly maintained by local Vietnamese communities, this site ensures that the pilots' contributions are not forgotten. The memorial is more than just a tribute. It symbolizes the shared history of struggle and mutual respect that has long connected North Korea and Vietnam. In 2004, after decades of remembrance in Vietnam, the remains of the fallen pilots were repatriated to North Korea. This act allowed their families to find closure and honored the memory of these soldiers on home soil. Yet, the memorial in Bac Giang continues to be a powerful reminder of the bond between these two countries. A relationship that transcends borders and political ideologies. This unique connection, rooted in the ideals of mutual support and shared sacrifice, speaks volumes about the power of international solidarity during times of crisis. It's a poignant tale of two nations coming together, demonstrating that even amid the chaos of war, bonds of friendship and respect can flourish. As visitors stand before the Bac Giang Memorial today, they are reminded of the sacrifices made in pursuit of freedom and the enduring importance of unity in overcoming adversity. These stories reveal the stark realities of life as a female soldier in North Korea. From enduring physical and emotional abuse to surviving inhumane conditions, their resilience is nothing short of remarkable. Which truth shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on more revelations. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, Music.